Yo, what's up YouTube? It's Witty Pixel here and welcome back to the channel. So today's video, I'm going to talk about the PS5 a little bit. And if you ask me about the PS5, gaming consoles are kind of a little bit of a technical marvel. Think about it, jamming all that hardware into a tiny package, and not only does it not suffocate like some consoles, it actually runs well. Now for the reason you came here, future streamer, content creator, is to find out about the PS5 streaming and recording features and how they work, of course. And we're gonna go over both. Hopefully when this video is over, you'll be able to use the PS5 to record, to stream. I'm also going to go over the burning question. Is it even worth it? Does it do it well? Is it good at it? Is this something you should actually do and invest money in and do this with your PS5? So first, let's go over the setup for recording. You'll need to go to settings, down to captures and broadcasts, and we're gonna start with the captures. Here you can set shortcuts for the create button to whichever you prefer. Set screenshot format to PNG for the best quality possible. In video clip format, change the manual recording resolution to 3840 by 2160, 4K. You'll see the type is Webcam now. But don't worry, the 4K recordings are actually really good. For the two mic options, I would enable both and remind your friends they're gonna end up on YouTube if you plan on actually including them in your gameplay. Now for the auto upload option, I found this feature more of a pain. Turn it off, it fails most of the time. Now let's go over streaming. Switch to broadcast and video quality and you'll see that you can go up to 1080p 60. Sweet. For audio, enable this so that your friends in the party can be heard as well. You'll need a PlayStation Cam to tune these settings since Sony doesn't allow third-party webcams. The overlay and chat to speech settings can be set to taste, whatever you want. I'm not going to cover how to set it up, but I'm not going to leave you hanging either. Twitch actually has a setup guide for PS5. Thank you, Twitch. Thank you so much. Most gamers game on Twitch, so I'm going to recommend you just use that. Not YouTube. YouTube does not have a guide on how to set that up. Now that that's out the way, how's the quality for streaming? For recording? Well, it's actually pretty good. I grinded away testing recording, testing streaming too. I even tested streaming and recording at the same time, and the PS5 handles both just fine. Let's start with what happens just recording first. And we're gonna look at Fortnite, Astro's Playroom, and Horizon Zero Dawn. Astro's Playroom and Fortnite look especially sharp and crisp on PS5, so it'll be a good way for me to check out how good the recording actually is. So something weird here. Astro's Playroom, I noticed a few micro stutters, but when rewinding and examining the stutters, to try to just analyze things, they were gone. They were no longer to be found in the video. After doing some digging, I found that somehow I ended up with two instances of VLC player on my computer, which is what I use to watch the videos. No clue how that happened. I removed them both, installed the latest version, but guess what? It was still stuttery. Then I had the greatest idea ever. PS5 records 4K webcam, like I said before. Maybe I can just use a web browser. Basically, no more stutters. It actually looks good here. Now for the quality, it's pretty good. It's actually very, very usable. But it's obvious you're not getting full quality. For sure, there's some noticeable pixelation and loss of sharpness on a lot of edges. There are typical symptoms of recorded footage when you're using built-in recording settings, features included on most graphics cards like NVENC for NVIDIA, and I forget the AMD equivalent is. This also confirms my suspicion that the PS5 includes no specialized hardware for recording. You're just straight up using raw CPU and GPU power to get those recordings done. So with that in mind, I'm surprised at how good it looks. For comparison, PCs can do this as well and have built-in recording features too. Cool, right? Yes, but when I've tried this feature on PC, it comes at the cost of video quality and FPS, lots of dips there. Something that you just don't see happening actually on the PS5, runs it well and fine and steady and consistent. The PS5 recording feature doesn't really drop any frames. All the games I demoed run at 60 frames per second. None of them had any dips that were noticeable to my very human eyes with my glasses on. It's not all gravy though. You get quality loss, like I mentioned before. It's not terrible. Footage is still really usable for would-be content creator on a budget, right? $3.99. You would do just fine with this level of quality considering how much YouTube already compresses videos. No worries there, to be completely honest. Now, what about streaming, huh? Streaming is fine as well. No issues there streaming on Twitch. Threw up a stream on Twitch, 1080p 60 FPS, and it was very usable and good footage. There were some drop frames here and there, but to be completely honest, I'm being nitpicky, and you have to pixel peep to actually see the drop frames on the video, so you'll be fine. But after streaming for about an hour, I only noticed a handful of drop frames. And quality was comparable to any stream that you would see from a pro gamer on Twitch, so all green check marks here. Now, something I touched on earlier, what about streaming and recording at the same time? Can the PS5 handle it? Streaming is still rock solid, even taking into account the fact that the PS5 is connected to Wi-Fi. Recording, on the other hand, loses some shine here because you have to record at 1080p. You cannot record at 4K and stream at the same time, but I don't think that's a big issue. If you pixel peep hard enough, you can see some graininess, but at least the internal game quality doesn't drop here. You are playing still at a full 4K while you're streaming at 1080p 60 and recording at 1080p 60. So again, more thumbs up here. You would be paying a lot of money to do that on a PC. Need to throw that out there for context. Your game will still output 4K 60 frames per second or 4K 120 frames per second, so you can enjoy those games and frames. So now let's talk about the disadvantages. We all know, if you know anything about computer hardware or technology, that the PS5 is definitely not the best way to do all this, not the highest quality to do all this. Now, what if you just use an external capture card like the pro gamers do? Isn't that better? Of course it's better. There's nothing like a dedicated capture card running on a separate PC to host your live stream. You have a ton of options to configure as well so that the stream looks exactly how you want it to. Since a dedicated capture card can be put into another PC, you can even record at full 4K with full quality, unlike the PS5 that doesn't do that. You can stream with overlays and use any other streaming software to manage things, so you can just game and stream and not worry about a thing as far as quality goes. You can even throw a bunch of storage options so that you can literally record an insane amount of content as well. You can even have things like on-demand rewind features most modern capture cards will actually support. So it's done, right? PS5 sucks, and any would-be streamer should just save up or shut up, buy a PC, go home, right? The PS5, in my opinion, is the absolute perfect console for streaming. And here's why. Because if you're a PS5 owner who's been wanting to get into streaming or content creation, this is the way to do it without selling a kidney. But here's what you're getting. 4K, 60 frames per second, or 120 frames per second, actual gameplay depending on the game. If you just want to stream, you can do that. 1080p, 60 frames per second, and record at a very good 1080p is the key here. Notice one thing, I haven't mentioned a face cam. Streamers do face cam, right? The time of writing this video, the PS5 camera is $60. Ouch. Now, does it work well? It's meh, it gets the job done. It can add some kind of background blur and green screen effect, but honestly, for $60, I don't know. It's a tough buy still. And again, the main issue here is it only works on the PS5. If you already have a webcam, you should just be able to plug it in and use it. If you ask me, just take away the background blur and the green screen software effect that you're likely doing, Sony. This is not hardware, we know that. Like, come on, stop trying to play us. Taking all things into consideration, now I know the PS5 isn't the only player in town. The Xbox Series X can also record at 4K, 60 frames per second, and just got the feature for streaming recently. No clue why, but it seems to work similarly with just one or two extra options. One kind of cool thing that I noticed though is the Xbox Series X can actually record onto an external hard drive. The PS5 cannot. The PS5 can only record on the internal hard drive. If you put in an NVMe drive, a separate one, M.2, you can't even use that either. Oh, Sony, why do you do these things to us? But if you wanted an Xbox, you wouldn't be watching this video, right? Taking all things into consideration here. Lastly, if you want to stream with an external capture card, you can easily pay upwards for about $1,000. And if you know anything about computers, you know I'm being very modest. So for $399, the PS5 has a ton of value. As a potential streamer, you'll be more than able to start your newbie career in content creation or as a pro gamer, streamer, person. I'll drop some helpful links down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I put a lot of sweat and hard work into this video. So if you did enjoy it, subscribe to help support the channel and hit the like button, please and thank you. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment below if you have any questions or any additional information you want to throw into the mix. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Peace.